To become a sponsor, your monthly gift is only $12. This $12 program is possible because we keep costs down without sacrificing the care your child receives. But this precious package is free with no obligation. So call now for the photo and case history of one little child who needs you. Call 1-800-426-8500. That's 1-800-426-8500.
Good morning from the Weather Channel.
Get a wake-up call plus your local forecast. Call 1-900-WEATHER and choose option 6. 95 cents a minute.
Oh no, I forgot Valentine's Day!
Don't panic. A dozen red roses are always the perfect gift. That is, if they didn't drop dead in days and cost over $60. This year, give her beautiful silk roses that last a lifetime. Forever Roses for only $19.95. She'll be delighted when Forever Roses are delivered right to her door in a florist box filled with a dozen of the finest silk roses wrapped with baby's breath and a personalized greeting card, all for just $19.95. But wait, call today and we'll include a second dozen absolutely free. That's 2 dozen long stem roses handcrafted from the finest silk to stay as beautiful as the day you sent them. Just call this toll-free number now to send Forever Roses for only $19.95. And we guarantee delivery for Valentine's Day. Call now and have your credit card or personal check ready. Sorry, no mail-in or COD orders accepted, but supplies are limited. So to order for this Valentine's Day, you must call right now.
Call 1-800-965-2992.
This is your local forecast. And stay tuned. The national outlook is just ahead in our 5-day planner. Forecast. Weather information you can plan on. Only on the Weather Channel.
Thanks so much for tuning us in here on the Weather Channel. I'm Jeff Morrow, soon to be joined by Sharon Resultant in the Forecast Center. We've got ourselves a winter storm moving through the Ohio Valley at the present time out of the Mississippi Valley, and it's going to be taking pretty much dead aim on some major metro areas of the Mid-Atlantic states. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Wanted to show you this satellite perspective, and you can see how fast these clouds are moving out through parts of Mississippi and Alabama where the rain is already coming to an end. It's raining around Atlanta and raining up into Tennessee, but farther north across southern Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio, and northern Kentucky, it is snow. And that snow is going to be headed generally in an easterly direction. Again, white on this particular map shows us where the snow is flying from just south of St. Louis, right on over toward the Lexington and Louisville areas in Kentucky, and on back toward Evansville, Indiana. The green farther south is all rain. A little bit farther on to the east, places like Washington and Baltimore may be in line for their heaviest snow of this season. With more on this storm and with a chat with Mike Seidel in Washington, D.C., let's go to Sharon in the Forecast Center.
Thanks a lot, Jeff. When we say the heaviest snow of the season, don't expect too much here. It hasn't been a very white season for folks into the D.C. area as of yet. Certainly doesn't compare to last year's, and we'll talk more about those statistics in a moment. But you will find some snow falling down, and you will find it accumulating. And tomorrow, well, later in the day, it might look something like what scenes in Kansas City look like today. This is shot actually earlier in Kansas City, Missouri. That was the scene once the temperature stayed below freezing, and that's when all of that snow began to stick. The accumulations, in case you're curious, about an inch in Kansas City and 2 to 4 inches just south of town. So we did have some measurable snow there. Really important to recall also that as soon as we get the cooling during the nighttime hours and the sun going down, that's when we start to see the problems on the roadways, and that may be a factor as we head across the Ohio River Valley, so keep that in mind. Joining us live now is Mike Seidel. And Mike, we've been watching the radar, the precipitation steadily moving in your direction, temperatures hovering in the upper 30s right now. Tell us about some of the scenes there in D.C.
Well, Sharon, it's a very quiet night, very tranquil out here on the reflecting pool, the smaller reflecting pool on the west side of the Capitol. You can see that vividly in the background, and no problems with visibility right now because nothing is falling. However, sometime tomorrow morning, early in the morning, we expect the snow to move in. It may start off as a period of rain or rain and snow mixed, but that precipitation, as it falls, Sharon, will bring the temperature down through evaporative cooling down close to freezing. But we do not expect any problems on the roadways, especially in town during the day tomorrow. Tomorrow night will be a different story. But during the day tomorrow, we expect wet snow to come down. The heaviest period of snow should occur in the afternoon into the evening on Saturday. And only 2.5 inches of snow has fallen so far this season in Washington, a far cry from last year and way below average for a city that averages about 20 to 24 inches a year, depending on if you're in town or out in the northwestern suburbs out in Montgomery County. So it's going to be quite an event considering it's been almost a snowless winter so far.
Mike, you touched upon the fact that it's going to be a wet snow. There is no cold Arctic air that's going to be plunging on southward this go around. So initially we're going to find maybe some rain coming down with that snow. Then, as you mentioned, changing over to snow. So pretty good packing snow event, wouldn't you say?
Good snowball snow, good snowman snow, and we'll be following the situation. By the way, I've heard locally that the DPW, the Department of Public Works trucks, are all gassed up. They've got plenty of sand and salt, and they're ready to hit the roadways here in the nation's capital as soon as it's necessary. Again, we're expecting the precip to move in before sunrise, but the more substantial snowfall tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening as this storm does not become a nor'easter. It shoots out to sea off the mid-Atlantic coast, sparing those of you watching tonight in New York and Boston a weekend of shoveling. And so there's some promising news for those of you in the Northeast, farther up the coast, who don't really want to see any snow. And you haven't seen a lot of it either this year in Boston, too.
It has been a very quiet winter indeed so far across that area. So I imagine those trucks have been gassed up for quite some time. Mike Seidel, thank you very much. We'll check back with you in about 30 seconds, or 30 minutes rather. We'll give him a little break there. We'll take you next to show you some statistics. I talked a little bit about how it's been a fairly quiet winter on into D.C. and other parts of the Northeast. 46 inches, that was the tally for the winter of 95-96. And as Mike mentioned, only 2.5 inches so far this winter season. A similar story into Philadelphia, also on up into New York City. And if you remember last year, it was a record snow tally in Boston with 107.6 inches to round out the 95-96 winter season. Only at just over 17 inches so far. And as Mike mentioned, this particular storm not going to affect New York or Boston. So you are in the clear for this weekend. All right, we're going to toss it back to the studio. Jeff Morrow is standing by to give you the weather as we head through the weekend for the rest of the nation. Jeff.
Okay, thanks, Sharon. And Mike out there standing in D.C. I know what it's like up there before a storm, although that was before the blizzard last year. This one not going to be a blizzard. Let's go ahead and show you, first of all, the storm in the south once again, and the rain, which has spread all the way up through Nashville, Tennessee, right on up through Knoxville, and even into the coal fields of eastern Kentucky. It's actually rain and snow mixed around the Lexington and Louisville areas now, but that's going to be going to all wet snow. Temperatures hovering near or just above the freezing mark there. So I would say several slushy inches of snow moving right on from southern Illinois, Indiana, through northern Kentucky, and then probably just clipping southern Ohio right through West Virginia, and then it looks like right through where Mike is, probably there in D.C. Now, it's already starting to rain lightly back on toward the Huntington area and before too long around Charleston. I would say generally above about 2,000 feet in elevation where you'll get the heavier wet snow accumulating in the mountains of West Virginia and maybe the higher elevations here of western North Carolina too. You can see how fast this whole system is just streaking off toward the east. Again, the snow confined to just the northern periphery of the storm, and that's the way it will stay as this whole system kind of chugs right off the Carolina coast here in the next 24 to 36 hours. That's our storm in the east. Few snow showers, not really amounting to too much in Wisconsin and upper Michigan. Then here's our next system dropping on down through central California, northwest Nevada. There is a little bit of snow flying here in the Sierra Nevada. You can almost see a bit of a rotation with this precipitation dropping south and this precipitation headed right on up I-80. So a bit of a circulation in here. Some snow in the mountains, some lighter rain, maybe a few heavier showers in through central California. Places like Sacramento on over to San Francisco, maybe up to Merced and Chico during the day, and down to Fresno during the day on Saturday, but nothing that looks like it's going to be all that terribly heavy. Temperature-wise across the lower 48, well, it's 53. In San Francisco, it's 37 in Seattle. There's the 39 in D.C. where Mike is. We expect that to cool off a bit. 54 in Atlanta, still a balmy 73 in Miami. To the forecast maps we go. Here's our load chugging right up along the coast. Rain from Norfolk through Raleigh. Probably overnight here in Atlanta and then tapering off during the morning and midday hours. Then it's pretty much out of there. There's the snow, which is tapering off from the west to the east across the lower Ohio Valley. Still snowing in West Virginia into northern Virginia, Maryland, right up to about Philadelphia, over to Atlantic City. Again, D.C. and Baltimore, watch out around the Beltway there and right up to the Inner Harbor there in Baltimore. It's going to be kind of that snowball throw in snow, kind of wet, kind of slushy, and the scattered lighter rain as we head out to the west. Light snowfall totals in the Sierra Nevada, maybe even down into the San Bernardino and San Gabriel Mountains. Locally, there could be about a half a foot of slushy wet snow in West Virginia, parts of northern Virginia, but those would be isolated areas, we think. There are your overnight low temperatures. Coldest out through the Rockies. Denver probably getting into the single numbers. Boston into the teens. High temperatures, though, in the 20s and 30s. No cold air anywhere. 80s again for Miami and maybe Tampa and Orlando. Cooling off there a bit on Sunday. But 30s stretching all the way from Chicago to Pittsburgh. Looks like in the 40s by Monday. Precipitation. This storm is out of there. It's gone. It's history. As Sharon was mentioning, Boston, New York, you're going to be north of this storm. You'll just see some clouds moving by on the southern horizon. Then here's the next storm. Probably a few rain or snow showers around Denver, rain for Dallas. Then it starts to pull eastbound as we head.
Well, you knew it was going to happen. We'd eventually get some snowfall. The question is now, when will it start and how much will fall in your backyard? And it's going to vary quite a bit around the Philadelphia area. Let's take a look at the stats for today. 42 degrees. And again, above normal by a few degrees. Low this morning, 30 degrees. Record high, 63 back in 1925. A record low, -2 in 1934. Sunrise, if you're getting up that early, at 7:03. Sunset at 5:28. At the airport right now, 34 degrees. Humidity, 82%. Barometer rising. The air is calm. No wind chill, of course, with no wind. And no precipitation here so far in Philadelphia. Winter storm watch has been posted by the National Weather Service in Jersey, and that's basically central and south Jersey all the way down to Cape May County, all of Delaware, and Cecil County in Maryland. Not for Philadelphia because we do not meet the criteria of about 4 or 5 inches. We're basically going to stay below that range. North and west, even less once you get up to Allentown and out to Lancaster. They may not see anything more than a few flurries or so, or a dusting. Right now, temperatures are starting to fall, so we're getting in that snow range. 30 degrees Allentown, 28 Reading, 34 Wilmington, also 34 in Atlantic City. Satellite shows the clouds, and this storm, it's out there. It's off to the south and west. Here it comes in our direction. Now, what's going to happen is we're going to see the energy switch off to the coast near the Carolinas, and that is a key factor for the snow tomorrow. Right now, all this moisture right here is moving towards us, what's going to happen is right in this area, we're going to see the energy transfer right about to here, and then we get a secondary low. You've probably heard this before. The second storm forms off the coast, and that's what we'll wait to see of how much snow we get tomorrow and when it starts to arrive. Right now, the timing is probably 11 or 12 o'clock here in Philadelphia, and again, down maybe south and west a little earlier than that. It should end by tomorrow night, say 9 or 10 o'clock. Definitely all of it out of here. So here's the track. Here's how it sets up. Right now, there's the storm. Alabama, Mississippi area. Overnight, it starts to move east-northeast. By the morning hours, there it goes off the coast. There's the snow moving into Pennsylvania, early morning hours, and then by the afternoon, that's what we can expect the best chance of some moderate snow or periods of snow. It'll continue into the early evening. Again, we are right on the edge of this storm because it intensifies, but it starts to move away at the same time. Now, the models are really conflicting on this. One says we get 1.5 inches, the other one says we get 4 or 5 in Philadelphia. We're going to take the lower road because the models have been a little bit off lately, and we're going to go with the one that seems to be nailing it a little better in the last couple of weeks. So Philadelphia, 1 to 2, leaning towards the 1. Wilmington, Millville, 2 to 3, and 3 to 4 here. And the reasoning is maybe some rain gets in along the coast because of the warmer air moving off the ocean. One thing here we have to remember is that the Atlantic Ocean is at 38 degrees, not 32 last year. So I think we're going to mix some rain in here, and it may keep the numbers down. This will be a wet snow, so if you're going to shovel 2 inches tomorrow, be careful because we haven't really shoveled all season. So if we get 2 or 3 inches, that could be a problem on the back. So take it easy tomorrow night if you can do the shoveling after the storm. So let's look at the forecast then for overnight tonight. Clouds, flurries, chilly 29, not a big deal. For tomorrow, we are expecting the snow to start again around noontime. It should start getting a little steady around Philadelphia. 1 to 2 here, north and west, a few flurries. And 6 now will probably make this more like a 3 to 4 inch range. 33 just or out above freezing. I don't think we'll have major problems on the road, just some wet roads and some icy patches. Tomorrow night, snow ends, a flurry early on, 26. Poconos and Shore, I think down in Atlantic City, you're going to get the mixture as the temperatures get above freezing. The Poconos, nothing, just a few flurries out there. And there's the extended forecast. We'll show it to you right through the rest of the weekend. We dry out. Another chance of precipitation on Wednesday, but right now it looks like the trend we've seen all winter, that one will be rain. So usually north and west get the most snow in Philadelphia. This time it's going to be south and east, a little different.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Rob.
About in the last week or so, but that is changing now as we have a system moving through the central parts of the Plain States, and what we're going to talk about here is where we think the rain and the snow is going to be spreading. It's a rather fast-moving upper-level disturbance indicated by this little X there, which in meteorological lingo means upper-level spin or vorticity. There goes our snow moving from where it was during the day today and this evening across Missouri and the Ohio Valley, ending up along the mid-Atlantic coast, probably stretching by this time tomorrow evening from northern Virginia, maybe eastern areas of West Virginia, right on through southern New Jersey and Delaware and parts of Maryland as well. That appears to be the swath where some of the heavy wet snow will fall. Anywhere south from there, it looks to be rain, maybe some wet snow in the higher elevations of North Carolina and East Tennessee. All right, let's go back to the maps. And again, this is how much snow has fallen so far. Heaviest snow started several nights ago. I think it was Tuesday. We were talking about snow accumulating around Salt Lake City, and then a whole bunch up to 10 inches or so in some of the ski resorts there in northern New Mexico. Had upwards of 6 inches in southern Kansas in the last 24 to 36 hours. Now the amounts appear to be tapering a bit. We have had Joplin, Missouri in the last 18 hours, about 3 inches. Harrison got 2 quick inches this evening, but it's over with there now. Kansas City just kind of tapered off to some drizzle after getting about 1 inch. And the same deal at Columbia, Missouri and Springfield. That snow is pretty much over with now as this whole system is headed east. Now the snow is flying from about Cape Girardeau over through Evansville, Indiana, Paducah, Kentucky, up through Louisville, and over toward Lexington and even Cincinnati. But temperatures are right at the freezing mark. There really isn't a lot of cold air for this system to work with, so what snow does fall should not cause any road problems or any major road problems. It will reduce your visibility at times, and it will accumulate on the non-paved surfaces, the grassy areas in particular, and on some of the car tops. Maybe 2 to 4 inches worth through Kentucky. Then as you start getting up in elevation in East Kentucky and West Virginia, some heavier snowfall might be expected. Ohio River Places like Louisville and Cincinnati and Lexington and Evansville getting the snow through Charleston, West Virginia. Pittsburgh, you're going to be right on the northern periphery, as will be Philadelphia. If you do get snow, it will be very, very light. Better chance farther south. D.C. and Baltimore, you're pretty much right in the mix here, over to Annapolis and Dover in Delaware through the evening hours. With a lot going to track right up along the coast. It's pretty much going to move right out to sea. 32 in Boston, 38 in New York, 35 in D.C., but with that wet snow flying during the day. Norfolk will be rain, and then rain all the way down through Raleigh and Charleston. The rain will be over with by the afternoon in Atlanta, and rain moving down toward Tampa and Jacksonville and Daytona Beach during the afternoon. A few rain showers in West Texas. Chicago, dry, 29, 34 in Bismarck with sunshine, and it looks like Seattle, not a bad day at 46. There's those rain showers moving down toward L.A. by late in the afternoon.